dusty but ready. Words to live by there.
Yep.
Dr. Jeff Sadow from LSU Shreveport, political analyst, etc. Hey, Dr. Jeff, welcome back to Keel. How you doing today?
Well, pretty good. How about yourself?
Looking at this headline, hayride.com, a little rough on our mayor Perkins practicing politics as usual on steroids with contracts and appointees. What was the motivation to write this?
Well, I mean, the mayor's been doing some rather controversial things, as it turns out. I mean, the piece looked at two things in particular. One, the supposed airport authority appointments, which the Attorney General's office says he cannot make, at least with the people he's talking about replacing. Their terms aren't up, according to the charter. The Attorney General's office said in a legal opinion, which basically is what you follow until the courts say otherwise, is that those people are in for 5 years. You can't do anything about it. And then the other thing, of course, is the insurance matters, where apparently the city's now paying more for and getting less as a result.
Is there a common thread in your mind between these two instances?
Yeah, it seems that the mayor's doing pretty much what he wants to do, and whether that runs afoul of city ordinances or the charter or whatever, at this point he doesn't seem willing to concede that those limits apply to him.
You say, Jeff, that he has put favoritism and pay to play at the forefront. Explain that.
Well, there's been a connection made between a campaign donor and for only $250 and the awarding of these insurance contracts. So to me, if you can go out and get that kind of favoritism just by one campaign donation, although maybe there was more involved, personal relationships and the like, but if you can do that and then go through all this controversy, because I mean, he's faced a lot of that, and that's an awful lot to put up with for just one, relatively small donation. So to me, that seems, one pretty egregious example of favoritism, and maybe to a lesser extent, paying to play.
Do you suspect it goes beyond favoritism, that we could be talking about something that could rise to the level of a criminal deal?
Oh, I don't think so, because the donation was perfectly legal, and if it gets connected to some kind of city business, I mean, there's really nothing legal against that. I mean, he's the mayor; he can make these decisions. Except now, of course, in this particular matter, the council's passed an ordinance saying that for these kind of insurance matters, the council has to oversee the payments, and that is spun off now into another controversy, where apparently council says he's not doing that with additional payments being made to this agency.
I'm going to quote just a little couple of sentences from your Hayride article, and I just want you to comment on what you know that might be behind these. Perkins swore the new policy, meaning the insurance deal. Perkins swore the new policy would prove as cost-effective, if not more so, as the one just jettisoned, which means he was either ignorant or lied. Pretty strong words. Would you care to expound on those?
Yeah, I mean, a couple months ago when this first went to public notice, Perkins was saying, I changed them, but yeah, we're going to get a good deal out of this. And apparently, from what we've seen from the city's auditor, that's not the case. And so, yeah, if those are the facts, then he either didn't know what he was talking about a couple months ago, or he did know and he misled the public and the council.
Dr. Jeff Sadow, you are a political science professor. So let me talk politics real quick with you. Can a politician with these stumbles right out of the gate recover? And to do that, what do they have to do?
Yeah, I mean, you can recover. The problem now is that there's just this rapidly eroding trust and really this image of competence, because we've got the council and apparently the city CAO thinking one thing and saying one thing, and then the mayor's doing another, and then he writes a whole opinion column apparently that is at odds with these other perceptions. So, in some sense, it's a matter of knowing whether to trust or believe him in talking about, these or any other kinds of matters. And in our system of divided government, at any level of government, you need some degree of trust between the different centers of power, in this instance, the mayor, the city council. And, without that, you're not going to have a city that's running fairly well. So, there's got to be some effort here to get to a point where the two can trust each other or believe what each other is saying, and that I think is more incumbent on Perkins right now to do those kinds of things, make those kinds of actions, and that's going to start on the road to recovery, so to speak.
Let me follow up on that. What are you looking for? What are you looking to see out of our mayor that will get you possibly back on the road to trusting him?
I'd like, when he makes statements like insurance is going to save his money, and then it doesn't, and then we get a kind of a convoluted explanation that a lot of people say isn't valid about all that. He needs to stop doing those kinds of things. He needs to, when he says something, it needs to be, I think, something that on the surface is pretty obvious to people that, that's what it is, and that there doesn't seem to be any convoluted motives, that not trying to hide, trying to cover for something, try to explain something away. That's the kinds of things I'd like to see.
And if you don't know something, say, I don't know. I'll find out though.
Yeah, sure. Or maybe more of a basic first step. Don't get involved in those kinds of things. Don't set yourself up for that kind of controversy.